Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with IRS. Welcome to my YouTube station. This is the home of the 5-minute or less video. I've been doing this for 50 years, so I don't need a script. My office is across the street. If you want to see me in a coat and tie, you can look at all my videos and everything that I've done at 777irs.com. I'm a national expert in IRS resolution matters. Like I said, I worked at IRS for a decade, been in private practice for 4 decades, so it makes me a national expert. I have a huge Facebook following. I've been on most all major news stations, so I do these videos so you don't get ripped off, so you don't get too panicked, so you don't get all caught up with worry and angst, because all these problems are really solvable. You just got to know the right people or really know what to do. So today that's going to be one of those videos, but I do have a great team of former IRS agents. So I want to talk to you today about what do you do when will IRS send out a bank levy or garnish your wages. That's important for you to go ahead and know at the end of the day. I got to hide my pretzels so you don't get too hungry. And I love the big thick pretzels. Anyway, IRS sends out, when you file a tax return, okay, you create what's called an assessment date. If you were to pull your transcripts, that would be the TC 150 date. Once you pull your transcripts, now you are in the collection. Once you go ahead and file that return, you are on an assessment cycle with IRS. So the first assessment starts with the IRS actually getting your tax return, process it, creating a TC 150, and now the cycle is starting to run. You will first of all get a CP 14 notice. That comes about 4 weeks after you send your tax return in. Then after that, you will go ahead and get a CP 501. Everything runs in 6-week cycles. Then 503. And then your 504 notice, it says, we are going to levy. We may contact your neighbors. Don't make a knee-jerk reaction, but you better start thinking, because the very next notice, once IRS gives you final notice and demand, and they send that 1058 and you don't go ahead and respond to IRS, you will get a levy on your bank account, or IRS will garnish your wages, because they feel in their own mind that you have gotten 5 months to go ahead and respond. And if you want to know what IRS is going to garnish, you can pull your own transcripts up and go to Wage and Income Portal, and you'll find out where IRS is going to hit. But you don't want that to happen. You can immediately stop any IRS action at all if you just call IRS and work out a deal with them. It's that simple. People wait and wait and wait and say, gee, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? It doesn't have to happen at all. The only reason it happens is you haven't called IRS to settle your case or to work your case. So how does that happen? Well, if you know you owe money, you have to close your case off the IRS enforcement cycles. That is the process that it's going through now. So you call them and you say, hey, I can't either pay the bill or I need to have payments. Those are how your cases are generally going to go in. About 14,000 people have an offer and compromise accepted. I'm not going to go through that here. I'll just briefly mention it. But once you call IRS and you give them a financial statement, if it's at a service center, which it will be, it'll be a 433F. It's only a 2-page form. Then IRS will make a determination. They'll make sure your financial statement's correct with either bank statements or a pay stub, just to make sure you're not lying to them. Then IRS, based on that information, will either put you in a hardship, which will last about 2 years, penalties and interest run. They'll still take your refund, but you can change your W-4 and they won't take your refund. Or they'll enter a payment agreement because you have the ability. If you have a large debt, IRS may say, hey, you're eligible for an offer and compromise. But before you go out to settle your debt and jump on the bandwagon and see what all these ads are running, don't go do that unless you know you're qualified for an offer and compromise. I get tons of calls on this phone right here saying, hey, guess what? you're not eligible, we just got ripped off by $10,000. If you think you're an offer and compromise candidate, you must speak to an attorney, a former agent, enrolled agent, or a CPA, and you want to give them the IRS financial statement. So if you were to call us, I wouldn't even take your case until I look at your financial statement to make sure that you're eligible for that offer and compromise. But remember, there are 3 solutions to end your case. You're going to either end it through a hardship, currently non-collectible for a couple years, IRS will look at it again, a payment agreement, or you may want to file your offer if you're eligible. Remember, no matter what program you're on, you have to go ahead and keep all your tax return filings up, and you got to make your estimate payments or withholding and make sure the situation is not going to happen again. I've worked thousands of cases. If you want to use this, my contact information is below, but you just heard the truth. Thank you so much for listening.